All right, folks, are you ready? Let's do the final short story that was written by Robert E. Howard in his Solomon Kane. It's my final short story in this collection. It's called The Footfalls Within. It was published in Weird Tales in 1931. So we'll take a look at this short story. Now, this is my second favorite hero that was created by the famous writer Robert E. Howard. He's probably best known for his Conan the Barbarian series, which is also my favorite hero by the gentleman. He wrote a lot of other big-name heroes during the pulp era, and Solomon Kane is the Puritan who is fighting with dual-wielding pistols. He has his rapier that he'll use as a backup. He's kind of on a quest for vengeance, and sometimes he'll turn more to some crossing of the lines in order to make sure that he really knocks out some stuff. And so we'll be kind of joining him in another excursion to Africa. We'll be continuing his African journeys in The Footfalls Within. Now, this is written in, again, 1931. It's in this collection. I'll link you to this collection below. I'll also link you to a free version of it online in Project Gutenberg, where all of his Solomon Kane stuff and other of his works are published and available for you to read for free online, since it's past its sell-by date according to Australian copyright law. I really love this guy a lot. I have a video where I have talked about my love for him. You can review that video in my comments below if you want to take a look at it. It's about 7 minutes long. So this short story is 26 pages long in this collection, which didn't take me that long to read. I read it last night again for the second time. I read this collection when I bought it in 2006, and then I also have gone back to it and reread all these things for the channel so they would be fresh in my mind as I went and did a deep dive into the Solomon Kane stories by Robert E. Howard, a gentleman I like a lot. So we're taking a look at another one of his African journeys in, again, The Footfalls Within. Now, I have mentioned this in a couple of his African works that sometimes Robert E. Howard does have some of the racist tendencies of the day. He doesn't have some of the other dispensations towards discrimination, like for females when it comes to misogyny, that sort of thing. It actually seems like he's actually a leading voice, if you will, for women being equals and should be treated as equals, and he'll write characters like Valeria and Conan I've used as a counterexample of women in the pulp era. But when it comes, and he's also regularly championing the underdog in a lot of his stories, but when it comes to race, he has a lot of the same racist tendencies of that day. In this short story, you're going to be coming across Arab slave traders in Africa that have captured a lot of local slaves, and they have some slaves that are working for them too, some local Africans too. So Africans are in kind of two roles here. They are both the slaves that you'll be coming across, as well as the ones that are helping to keep them enslaved, but those are all controlled by Arabs. And I didn't see any of Robert E. Howard's normal sort of anti-black language towards either the slaves or the ones that were keeping them in slavery. It doesn't seem like it's a part of this short story. Instead, he seems to have transferred that to his description of the Arabs. That is not a nice description at all. And in some cases, he says some pretty racist things about Arabs. So just so you know, going into it, in case you want to skip it by, no problem. I totally get it. But this is an action-packed story in which our hero, Solomon Kane, who is, again, in a white savior narrative, as most of the pulp era stories that are set in Africa do definitely have a white savior who is going to be enraged by what's happening, and he's going to seek justice on behalf of the slaves. Basically, we're going to start out, he's going to be following some slaves in a desert jungle, and he sees this slave train coming down the roads, and one of the women that is being enslaved by one of the folks falls down. She seems to be totally famished, totally tired, and completely worn out. And Solomon Kane says she really does only need to rest in order to move on. But they don't have time to do that, right? They're going to move on. So they're just going to leave her there. But before they leave her there and abandon her, it seems like they're going to rape her. So Solomon Kane is so enraged by the idea of these slaves raping one of their slaves, a woman, before letting her die, and then abandoning her, that is what motivates him to rescue these slaves. He doesn't even think about it. He just grabs his gun and shoots the one who was about ready to rape the woman dead right then and there, even though there's like 70 of them, and he knows he's not going to be able to win it. He's just so enraged and so angered in his pursuit of justice that he will just immediately kill her with his pistol. And it will cause the entire group of about these 70 people to charge him. He'll kill a few, and then he'll be taken as a slave himself. And so then we're going to follow along We're going to watch the combat and the battle, and then we're going to follow along as Solomon Kane is actually now enslaved by these people too. So there's going to be some conversations between him and the slaves that I think are really funny, and I think are really funny and are well done. But Robert E. Howard, I think, he does a good job in this story. That's what I'm letting you know about. And I give it an 8 out of 10. It's a very well, strongly written story with a lot of clever lines to them, which Robert E. Howard tends to have at least one a page, just a really clever line that really relishes the character or the situation or the story. And his stuff's always fun to read. You know, you're not going to be bored by a Robert E. Howard story. So it's strongly done, strongly interested. If you're interested in finding out what actually happens to Solomon Kane and to the slaves and what winds up happening, you'll find out. Also, in the story, you'll learn early on that his juju staff that he's been carrying around and using for a few short stories now, that was given to him by his blood brother Elonga, who is a master of magic on the slave coast of Africa, he was given this sort of magical staff, and this magical staff is actually the staff of Solomon, which is and is older than the world itself. So you're going to find out a lot more information about his magical staff that he's been using. And some of the things that's been happening with it. So you'll learn a lot about it. So it's kind of a nice codex because he's been using this now for a couple of short stories. So you've got an opportunity to kind of get a feel for what the staff is, and now you're going to really know what it is. And so that also is kind of, I think, a key aspect of this short story by Howard. So there you are. I'll leave you to it. Have you read The Footfalls Within? What did you think of it? Did you agree or disagree with any of my thoughts? I would be more than happy to engage you with them further in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, well, please feel encouraged to hit that subscribe button because there's going to be a lot of these to follow. And finally, hey, I just want to thank you for taking some time out of your day and investing it in my video. We all have so many things that are happening in our lives right now, and we're being pulled in so many different directions by so much on media. So the fact that you spent this time with me, that is incredibly humbling. I appreciate it. So thanks again, and have a great day.